Welcome to Potter Familias, coming to you from Fairhope, Alabama.
I'm Todd Sylvester.
And I'm Stephen Sylvester, just keeping you on your toes.
I was like, what is he going to say?
Yep.
What's he going to do?
That's what I'm here for.
I'm realizing as I get older,
Yeah.
I have, I think, less temperance than I did when I was younger.
Really?
I have no self-control when it comes to peanut M&Ms.
Really?
If they're around anywhere around me, I will eat them all.
Okay.
And this is a problem because if you give me, like recently, one of my kids gave me the large package. I mean, the huge clear container with the screw-on lid. And the screw-on lid, I think, is supposed to slow you down, but it doesn't.
Okay.
And I can eat that whole thing and still feel fine. Like you're supposed to get sick, right?
Yes.
People
That's
are
insane.
like, you can't eat all that. It's going to make you sick. I would welcome it making me sick.
And you
because
know
that
from experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that would be like pushback, like a little, hey, you shouldn't do this. Your pancreas is freaking out. You might want to stop.
God, you know the little Reese's? The little
Yeah.
ones that,
Yeah.
that you get for Halloween and
Yes.
stuff? So there's a bag of them
I know.
in the youth center right now.
Yes,
and
I know.
I
had some
ate
today.
I ate like 6 of them the other day
All right.
in one sitting, which is
Right.
like nothing to you, I assume.
6 is a joke,
Right.
but go ahead.
And so I was like, oh, man, those are so good. I'm just going to have one more. And that one more put me over the edge.
Over what edge?
I don't
What edge are you
know.
speaking of?
There's this physical.
I don't know the edge. I've never been to the edge.
Really?
Never.
That's-
I'm talking about all the ice cream I've had in my life, all the candy. People are like, oh, I felt so sick. I ate the whole pie. I ate the whole pie.
And it doesn't make
I
you
still
sick.
feel great.
That's insane.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, fair enough.
All right, we don't have time for this because that's not the topic. Some people, maybe even recently, maybe it's the pandemic, have come to me and talked about how stressed out they are,
Mhm.
how anxious they are, and they're like, Todd, how do you handle it? How do you handle it? So I figured today you and I could both, coming from different generations,
Yeah.
and talk about how we handle stress.
And granted, I think for my family, the pandemic itself wasn't stressful necessarily because we still, we had to cut back quite a bit, obviously, but we still were able to afford groceries and things like that. And we didn't lose our jobs. I mean, we were very, very blessed during the whole thing. However, I think that what's happening now is because we had that time of relaxation, and it wasn't all relaxation, but it was definitely more relaxed than normal. I was home more nights than normal.
Right.
Now getting back into a full-time work schedule and playing gigs all
gigging
the
a lot,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, gigging at least 3 nights a week normally. That's a lot, and it's taking an adjustment, and it's really stressful, if I'm being honest.
Right.
There's some nights where I go home and I'm like, all right, I know that there's chores to do, and I know that there's stuff that I could do to help, but I just need a second. Like I need a couple of minutes to decompress, and then I can help.
All right,
again.
talk to me about the decompression. How do you do it?
Well, for me, it's a matter of finding something where I can turn my brain off and do it for a little while, like watching meaningless YouTube videos. And I have to be careful not to get caught up in it because it's almost like there's a bell curve. There's that perfect spot where I just let my brain turn off and I don't have to think about too much or process anything for just a little while. And then I can tell when it's like, all right, my brain has calmed down. And then if I keep going, then the opposite thing happens.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I have to hit that perfect sweet spot of like, if I can turn my brain off for just long enough, then it allows me to handle most stressful situations.
What kind of videos are you talking about?
Normally for me, it's either watching people break Minecraft or like watching people demo sound equipment. Like it's very nerdy, weird stuff, but it's
I am not going to judge because we've talked about how nerdy the videos I watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
I can't even believe they're there.
But honestly, that's like in the middle of different things that are requiring my full attention. It's like those things themselves aren't necessarily stressful. It's just having a bunch of them in a row requires that my brain needs some time to just chill for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't get that, there's only so many days that I can go and not just feel like I'm failing at everything.
Right.
So for me, it's like having that time to decompress, and it doesn't have to be long.
sometimes with me, and I know there's probably going to be a professional out there who's going to say, well, Todd, that's possibly a sign of depression, is I just really need a nap. I just really need a nap. I mean, I get super stressed out.
There's no way that's a sign of depression. Naps are awesome.
Yeah, but if you take them too often, I think, like I had a friend of mine that was napping like 3 times a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And the counselor was like,
that's more of a sign of something psychological.
Trying to escape from something. I don't know. But I mean, like a good Sunday afternoon nap, right after lunch time, and you guys have left, and the donuts in me is kind of churning a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, it's time to lay down. And Mom laughs because when you talk about decompression, I lay down and I literally I use a weighted blanket and I put a full-size pillow over my head.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, can you breathe? And I'm like, yeah. Because I don't breathe a lot anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
What? My heart rate is so slow. I'm like those reptiles that go underwater and can still survive. Stop it.
What? You're saying things that I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to act normal. He just said something that is definitely not normal. We're just going to keep going.
It's how we handle stress.
And pretend
sometimes
this is fine.
We handle stress differently.
It's fine.
I went through a period of time where I was really, really going through a rough spot. And I remember turning to Mom at one point in time, and I said, I just need to go for a walk. And she said, oh, are we going for a walk? I said, no. I need to go by myself. I mean, I know that sounds selfish. I know it's kind of mean to the kids. But I just need to go for a walk by myself.
Makes perfect sense to me.
And it was wonderful. And I would recommend to anyone how to handle stress is you got to find, just as you talked about, the sweet spot.
Right.
Like whatever it is. It can be a simple YouTube video. It can be taking a nice nap. It can be going for a walk.
And don't be afraid to do that for yourself when you need to. It's like psychologically, you can only handle so much. That's true for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people can obviously handle more than others can, but everybody needs a break from time to time. And when I say a break, I really mean just a break.
Right.
Which is why there's that bell curve thing that I was talking about with the YouTube videos, because I can go down a rabbit hole of stuff I haven't
3
seen
hours
before,
later.
and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel even worse than I did before because I've spent all this time and invested all of this mental energy.
It's like I ate the 7th Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh my gosh, leave me alone. I don't have the magic stomach for sweets thing that you have going on. You're like, I'm a mutant. Sugar has no effect.
Now I'm taking a nap.
This is nutritious. It's like my version of steak.
Oh, mercy.
Bring me more.
But yes, you have to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
And it has to be reasonable. Just we're not professional counselors. So if it gets to a point.
Do you want me to do the... None of this advice should be taken as legal or psychological in nature.
Right. Because it's not. It's just what we do. And whenever I get to that point, now I do caution those people who want to use things like alcohol or something else to defrag too much. I mean, I figured you'd want to comment on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've told that story already, but yeah, that was what I just told myself was the way that I was decompressing was using alcohol and having way too much of it all the time by myself.
Right.
That obviously wasn't healthy. And so I apply that principle to anything that I'm using to decompress, because obviously it can very quickly turn into something where I'm seeking comfort and I'm not just trying to get back to a place where I could function.
And I've got some friends, that have gone through their list of things. Some of them just love a really good cup of tea. Some of them love reading great books.
Some people love to sit and be quiet. Some people like listen to music, like classical music, and they just have to be by themselves for a minute. But a lot of it is just doing the thing that allows your brain to relax.
Yeah. Mom likes to go by herself into the hot tub.
Yeah.
And you can tell when it is something where she just needs to decompress, because people are like, hey, I want to go in the hot tub with you. She's like, no, it's me and this margarita. And that's it.
And that's healthy, I think.
Yeah. Right, because it's just one.
Right.
But it's keeping those things in balance. And just as you said, you got to find the sweet spot. Whatever that is in your life, there are times when I get stressed out, and it's going to sound funny. I want to go and do some woodworking.
Yeah.
I want to just go and, paint something or just to get my mind off of the thing that is weighing on me that I have no control over.
And you have to be honest about what you actually need, because that'll prevent whatever you're using to decompress becoming a habit.
Right.
Or becoming a bad habit.
Yeah. Because for us, oftentimes it's like financial stuff. It's just like, oh man, an unexpected bill, something comes in, you're like, how am I going to deal with this? And God always comes through. Fortunately, I just have a bad memory, it seems, because I'll just get stressed out about something, anxious and things, and then I'll just try to get my mind off it enough to where I can calm down enough to look at it more realistically. Does that make sense?
It does. And that's, I think, the whole point of trying to decompress is to change your perspective about what's going on.
Yeah.
And to physically and psychologically just rest for a second. Like, rest is really important.
Absolutely. Leave in the comments if there's something that you utilize to help you handle stress.
Especially if it's unusual.
Yeah, and we can share it with others. Thanks so much for listening to Pod of Familias.
Y'all are awesome.